Very good afternoon to you, wonderful people seated out there at the various locations, watching us here live from the studios of the Uyo Catholic Media. Today we are here to continue from where we stopped last week. Last week we were on Spare the Rod and Spoil the Child. Today we want to consider parental negligence and societal brutality, the way forward. Of course, I have two wonderful guests with me, but before then, I must remind you that my name is Ezekiel Lutang, otherwise known as MC Black. I am here with, of course, we say ladies first, with a very wonderful lady seated to my left. She is a teacher at Asutanekpe Comprehensive Secondary School. Mrs. Imebong and Efiok Akban, say hi to the people.
Good afternoon, Mr. Presenter. Good afternoon, viewers from all over the world. My name is Imebong, and I'm so glad to be in your midst this afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. You're welcome, Mrs. Imebong Akban. And to my right, I have this man who is an administrator of a school. Is equally a pastor. I'm talking about the principal of Grace and Power High School of Idoro Road, Uyo, Pastor Isonke Joseph Ororepo.
Thank you very much, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, presenter. Good afternoon, my audience. It's a solemn thing for me to be here today. I'm very happy to be among you, and I promise that today is going to be very educating. God bless you.
Thank you so much. You're welcome, Pastor Isonke. We will go straight to the point, but before then, I want to sincerely apologize for beginning behind schedule due to unforeseen circumstances. We hope to do better in our next edition. Thank you so much. Let me begin with Pastor. Pastor, we're talking about parental negligence and societal brutality. Let's begin with parental negligence. What's your view on this?
My view on parental negligence is a broad view, is a broad spectrum, but then I'm going to narrow it down to the experience I have as a school administrator, because parental negligence is just simply the less attention paid to children based on certain things about them, their character, their conduct, their moral values, and all of that. Sometimes the negligence might not be total negligence. The negligence might be partial negligence, in the aspect that a parent would pay more attention on one aspect of the child and neglect the other aspects of the child. And this is my own view about parental negligence. It's a broad perspective that cuts across the social life, the spiritual life, the academic life, the psychological life of a child.
Okay, thank you so much. That's very wonderful. It's broad, but specifically we can consider the partial and full negligence.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Let's hear from Madam. What's your take on it?
Thank you very much, Mr. Ezekiel. When we talk about parental negligence, it's simply the failure of parents' guidance to provide physical, emotional.
Mrs. Imebong, talking about parental negligence, which we are still on before we get into the other aspect of it, what do you think triggers parents? What's the cause of it? Why do parents neglect their children?
All right, first I will say wrong priorities. Wrong priorities in terms of pursuit of wealth. There are so many parents that, so long as I'm bringing money to the table, so long as I can care and provide for children, then I'm very, very okay. But that is not how it's supposed to be. So wrong priorities on the part of parents is one of the causes of this parental negligence. And we can also look at maybe let's say technological addiction. Okay. As well. Now parents have left the children. Oh yeah, internet me. No. Let that child just be like that. I won't really bother. I won't really say anything. So all those things are what have caused negligence on the side of parents.
That's
as
very
well.
correct, especially when children are allowed to solve the nets without being censored. They are not supervised.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know, these things expose the children to
A lot of
where
vices.
they should not, what they shouldn't be exposed to, and it informs their behavior in the society. And of course, that will make a child one day be addressed as not having a good home training,
Of
Yeah.
course.
and it can trigger violence in the child. And the child, why do you demean where I come from?
Yeah.
But not knowing that there has been a remote cause. That's
Sure.
the parents' negligence on the side of the parents. Thank you so much, Mrs. Imebong. That's I want to believe that our viewers out there, they are making themselves comfortable, and of course you're learning as a parent, as a mother, and as a father. I want to believe that you are with us. I want to chip in this particular thing. Thank God I have a father with me. I have a mother with me. A little thing about discipline, because you can't talk about parental negligence without bringing in a little thing about discipline.
Sure.
What happens when mommy and daddy are not on the same page? How do we handle that? Does it have anything to do with the child's behavior out there in the society?
Of course, it does have an effect on the child. Let's look at a scenario of a broken home. Mommy is not there, daddy is not there, or maybe they are separated and one person is living at the far end of a place. Now that child, so and so. You see how he'll be telling lies. I want to go and see mommy at this other side, whereas he's not actually going to see mommy. So broken homes, of course, has a very serious effect on the child's psychology, mentally, in fact, even spiritually.
That's very true.
Yes.
That's very true.
Can I say something?
Our
too?
heart, yes, of course, our heart goes to those homes where we have the children staying with either the father alone, or the children staying with only the mother. It is the child that suffers. I would really want you to talk on the parents live together,
Yeah.
but they vary almost 97% in their views,
Okay.
you know, in their opinions, in the course of bringing up the children. How does this contribute to the child not functioning well in the society?
Okay. Parents who stay together, but then they fail to work in synonym together, in tandem together, is going to raise a confused child.
That's
Because
correct.
sometimes the child might not know who to believe or who to trust or who to even listen to. Because sometimes, you know, children are like they're like a plain sheet. Whatever you write on them is what stays.
Yes, a tabula rasa.
So now imagine how a father who believes that, let's just use an example, flogging is a way of disciplining a child, and the mother believes that just scolding is a way of disciplining a child, and the child might just grow up to maybe dislike the father. Now, what should be done is that the parents should come into an agreement before the child comes in, because if they are constantly in disagreement, it's going to bring an emotional tilt. When I mean an emotional tilt, the child will have to maybe forced to love a parent more than the other.
Blind love, anyway.
Yeah, blind love more than the other. And most times, in fact, if not all times, in all instances, the parent that the child loves the most is going to be the parent that does not help the child.
That's very correct.
I'm going to bring myself as an example. I grew up in a very strict home, like a very strict home. And in fact, I can recall that when I was little, like an infant, I was very clingy to my mother. And because there was a gap between myself and my junior, I was always my mother's handbag wherever she goes to. My dad woke up one day and told my mom, don't allow this boy to be this clingy to you. At that stage, I thought that my dad really hated me. And I could see my mom just flipped also and was firm. I was like, okay, it's time for you to detach. Baby sister is coming. It's time for you to detach. And then when baby sister came, I had to detach by all means.
Yes.
And I, over the years, although it had a whole psychological effect on me, because the explanation was not to why I must detach from my mother. But then what I'm trying to say that my mom also stood with my dad. I was like, although she loved me so much, but then she had to let me go. So imagine if my parents were not on the same page. I would have thought that my dad hates me,
That's
Sure.
true.
and I would have grown up with that pattern of thinking, and have been a serious disaster to me right now.
Until today.
Yeah, exactly, right now. But right now, I really appreciate what my dad did.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Pastor Isonke. You say it's very good as parents to be on the same page. It's very good to be in sync. Discipline a child in one voice. Discipline a child with a defined modus operandi, and that will help balance the upbringing of the child. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here in the Uyo Catholic Media. We are reaching you with the topic parental negligence and societal brutality. Pastor, let me stay with you.
Okay, sir.
Yes. What should discipline, moral education, and family values play? What roles should they play? Discipline, moral education,
Okay.
and family values play in raising responsible and law-abiding citizens
Okay.
as they grow up.
This phenomena, that the discipline, the moral values, and the third one, it helps to shape and mold the child to be what the future is going to be nice to receive the child. Because if the child is not really molded, the Bible says, train up a child in a way he should go, and when he's old he will never, emphasis on never.
Never. Yes.
Now, it does not mean that the child may not deviate at a point, but it will make the child to come back to the same lane that he was trained. Like, I also use myself as an example. As I said, I'm from a very strict home. My brains are still alive, and I can remember that when I was little, you don't step out of the house without. In fact, my dad had a security post for himself that you don't step out like that without him knowing we are going to. And although my mom was a career person, she was not always at home, but my dad played that role. That when my mom is not there, he played the role of the father and the mother.
Okay.
Now, when I was a teenager, I deviated a little bit. I just wanted to explore. But then that imprint that was laid in me as a child kept, in fact, flogging me like a stroke of cane. Like it kept biting my conscience, and I had to run back to daddy. In fact, I had to run back to daddy and then to God. And that's what landed me in the ministry. Because in fact, when I had the opportunity to leave my parents totally to serve, like in Katsina State, where I served as a copper, I had the opportunity to do whatever I felt like doing. But I was very sure that when I was there, I couldn't even step out of my room. When I'm back from my PPA, I'm back in my house, from the house to the church. In fact, I now notice that the same routine I did in my parents' house, was the same routine I did when there was nobody to tell me, where are you going to? Isonke, where are you going to? Isonke, what are you doing? I did the same routine. Even when I was staying with some coppers that were very wild and untamed, it did not affect me in any way. So when the society, when the parents, when the church, in fact, let me use the church too, comes up with moral values and all those things, it shapes the child, molds the child to have a better tomorrow. The child may not like it today. We should not look at the child's reaction today. The tomorrow is what matters. That's what I have to say.
Thank you so much. So, you who is in charge, you're in charge of a school,
Yeah.
you are head of a family,
Yes.
you are in charge of a church, you should be very careful the way we handle the children.
Yes, you should.
Parents are also encouraged to appreciate the good things, the measures school managers, school authorities, church leaders put in place that we bring up the child. Because once the child is born, the child does not belong to only the parents. The child belongs to the society.
Yes.
So what becomes of the child in the future has effects directly on the society. Thank you so much, Pastor Imebong, for your very wonderful submission. Pastor Isonke, rather.
Yes.
I am with Mrs. Imebong. Sorry about that. So we talk about societal brutality. Madam, how do you consider societal brutality, and where does it have a link with parental negligence?
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Ezekiel. Negligence, the end product of it is societal brutality.
Okay.
First, the home is the primary center where we mold children, where character formation begins, and where instructions are given. Now, when parents neglect their primary responsibilities of not training that child well, it will fall back on the society.
That's true.
Because we are returning whatever God has given us to mold that we've not done well back to the society. Now, when we send them to the society here, the street is not balanced. The street is not happy because that's the cliche now for joy no dey street. So by the time you send these young minds to the society where there is no where violence happens, where there is no joy, where there is no happiness, the society will turn them anyhow against parents. So the society plays a serious role.
Okay.
And brutality is eminent for a neglected child.
That's true. I agree totally with you. However, I still stay with you. As a teacher, you identify these threats in the children that you teach, for instance. How do you cope them? How do you handle them?
That's very true. Day in, day out. I actually teach in one of these remote schools in Akwa Ibom State, and you see their traits being exhibited even in the classroom. Sometimes you wonder, okay now.
It's okay.
So you just see them behave somehow. Now what I do as a teacher, once I identify that kind of a child, is for me to bring them closer to myself, offer counseling services to them. You talk to them. How is it in the house? How is mommy? How is the parent? That's when you, in fact, when you discuss with them, you see how they are so broken because I'm a took attires and more. You've gotten to where it's in psychology you hear the quim of something.
Yes, the quim of.
Yes, so you've gotten to where the roots of the issue. So you just offer guidance services. You try to preach in morals to them. Oh, we come out and say, but don't do like this. Just like the discipline you said, you try to talk also sense into them. As also a teacher, it doesn't just end with the pastor praying for children.
That's
you
true.
take time.
Yes.
That is even when you can even have a kind of one-on-one session of Yaguwemfun or Christ through that. So that is what I do as a teacher.
You know, teachers are equally pastors,
Sure.
prophets, and teachers.
In the classroom.
Yes, you have to exhibit all these things in the classroom. You don't have to be lopsided.
So,
It so happens that the three of us share the same profession.
Wow.
Yeah, because I am a teacher, very proud one. I'm still in the classroom.
Okay.
Some time ago, I think that was in 2018, there was a girl I used to reprimand for coming to school very late
Exactly.
in the primary school. One day I just had to pause and ask this girl, why do you always come to school consistently? I mean, some minutes to 10 a.m. And she'll tell me, until my mistress's children reach their school. I said, are you the one that drops them off in the school?
wow.
She said no. So what happens? Where do they school? I thought she would mention one nursery school. She said they are in the university. I was taken aback.
Oh, wow.
So the poor girl serves both the mistress and the children. And you know how our university folks, you know, they will lackadaisically do their things before they can get out of the house. That's when the child gets to school.
Wow.
So you see, a child growing up with that kind of, treatment and mentality has a tendency of taking things for granted.
Of course.
So parents, we need to do much. We need to complement the work that the teachers do out there. We also need to complement the work our religious leaders do out there in the church by ensuring that we try as much as possible to make the children to be up to date in making them appreciate the values that they should put out into society, because charity begins at home. And when you do it haphazardly, it doesn't work, because a job partly done is a job not done. This has nothing to do with half bread. Heartbreak has no negotiation with
Yeah,
attitude
exactly,
at
exactly,
all, at all.
exactly.
So, as an administrator of a school, because you are still a frontliner,
Yeah,
I want to believe that on one or two occasions, some of your teachers bring,
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
cases to
yeah.
you.
I would
How
like
do
to
you,
share some
how, yes.
experiences.
Mm,
Um, Last year, we admitted a set of siblings,
mm,
because our school is both the nursery and the secondary.
okay.
So there are two of them in the nursery and one in the secondary. And these three children are very quiet. In fact, they walk as if they cannot kill an ant.
Hmm.
And we now notice that the third one, which happened to be the youngest one
Mm,
in primary two, was always very withdrawn.
mm,
Very, very withdrawn to the extent that she doesn't even play with people in the class.
mm,
Even when we go out for sports and all of that, she chooses to be in the class.
Mm.
And she was always malnourished.
Mm.
So we thought that since the three of them were slim, that it was a genetic thing. But we now noticed that it wasn't normal.
mm.
So now the class teacher, she has said, had to look at this girl with
Eh.
now notice that this girl was not being slim, but she was malnourished. And we now notice that most of the time that things were missing in the class mysteriously.
Mm.
To cut the whole long story short, this girl was once caught putting her hands inside the teacher's food
Oh.
to eat the food.
Mm.
The brother, on the other hand, in primary 5, was every time when there is any little chance, he opens everybody's lunch bag. When we go for maybe devotion, he will, as if he wants to go and drop his bag, open people's lunch bag, remove the meat. As funny as that is.
Oh.
And the on
Very
the other hand in
pathetic.
JS3 was nonchalant, lackadaisical about the whole thing.
Mm.
When we now call the two of them that were culprits to question, the sister in JS3 had to come to tell us that please, she was even crying, that it's not the children's fault, that their father is always not around. He's around, but he's not around. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And the mother is very strict that any little thing they do, it amounts to starving them. They might end up not eating for a day or two or thereabout. So they shouldn't go around eating whatever they see. So bad to the point that one of them was caught picking bread from the dustbin in the school to eat. It became alarming in the school that other children started asking questions, reporting to the parents. Daddy, I saw this. We had to step in, call the parent. When we called the father, I personally called the father. The father told me, I'm going to give me the prophet. I'm always around. Anything that happens, but and what, all those things. I was like, sir, please calm down. These children of yours are not behaving well. It was so bad to the extent that we now noticed that one day, in fact, we received a call from the mother. The mother called my line and she was ranting over the phone and saying all sort of things, that she's coming to school with police to arrest his students and to arrest a pupil. One of the pupils molested the daughter. And when she mentioned these people's name, I was like, I can vouch with my life that this boy did not do this. The story was that the child was molested, like sexually abused. So the child came to school that morning. I called the girl, the brother came, the senior sister came. In my presence, you could see how these two children, you know how a child will look into your eyes and lie without shaking.
Yes.
God knows I believed what this boy said. In fact, he mentioned instances of seeing these other classmates of the sister following the girl to this and that, and I was like, but this does not happen, because we have eyes everywhere in school. We have people that look into the convenience of the children and all of that. So when did this happen? And this innocent boy was crying, I am not the one. And the girl was saying, you are the one.
Oh, God.
Looking at this boy in the eye to say, you are the one that violated me. Thank God for my school counselor. She called the girl to a very private place and did not just ask the girl there, did not threaten the girl. She just started asking the girl, how are you, this and that and that. What happens at home? To cut the whole long story short, see, we now discovered that it was this boy in primary 5 that was abusing the sister in primary 3 with threats that if she says anything, he will kill her. It's as bad as that.
What a bastardized.
When I heard
background.
this, my blood ran cold. As in, I was like, what's going on? We had to call the parents to tell the parents what's going on. Do you know, to my greatest shock, the parents know about this.
Are you serious?
We were like, Ma, you know about this and you do nothing. We're like, what do you want me to do? We now discover that the mother is not their mother, it's a stepmother. And the woman had a
I thought
mind
as
to
much.
come to school with let me just say ammunitions to fight the
Are
teacher
you serious?
that discovered this. When we now tried to intervene, she was too violent. That's where we just had to we expelled the children. And we said we cannot come in and report this case to the social welfare and the government and all of that, because I felt we are going to be how do I put it, crossing our boundary. So we just told her, since you don't want us to help your children, please carry your children to where you feel is okay. Later the father now come and apologize that he wishes the children would come back. I told him, sir, no, please, because of other children, they are seeing these things, they are hearing these things, and the reports they go home with. In fact, not hearing this thing, because information flies in class. They want to go and practice what they've heard, what they've seen at home, and need to come back to the school.
For want of time, thank you so much, Pastor Isonke.
Yes, sir.
Dear parents, I think it's very pertinent that we be available to our children. Try to be available. Just as we, the teachers, are available to them in the classrooms, the pastors, the bishops, the apostles, the leaders in various religious denominations, they are available to tender to the soul's needs. You should also be available to tender to that project that God had entrusted into you, and that is the children. I want to use this opportunity to acknowledge our wonderful followers, those ones who are viewing us live on Facebook. Savior Etuwudo, thank you so much. Imabong Fon, I am glad to have you with us. La Quinta Edet, thank you so much for being with us. Aniekeme Daniel, it's good to have you. Thank you so much. As a final call, Mrs. Imabong, what is your advice to parents? Just a sentence or two.
Please be available for your children. Meet their needs. Be with them. Don't be an absent mommy or daddy. And let mommy not leave the responsibility of taking care of the child to daddy. And daddy should not also do likewise. Remember, at the end, God will ask us, what did we do with the children he handed to us to take care of? Thank you very much.
Because it took the efforts of both the man and the woman, whether it was for 2 minutes or it was for 10 minutes or it was for an hour, to bring that child into existence. So you must have to stay together and handle this matter until these children leave you. A final call. What would be your cry to the government on this particular cankerworm?
Okay, I'll tell to the government that please, the government should do better than they have done, because the government have played roles, and I can see it, by establishing some orphanage homes and establishing ministries that take care of vulnerable children and all of that. If you can recall that many years ago there were children on the streets of Uyo that were homeless, but now they've reduced a greater amount. So I want the government to put more pressure, and please, the government should not discourage schools from discipline, because sometimes the government, in the course of trying to protect the child, child's rights, that's what they call it.
Child's right.
They now make the schools to be, their wings to be clipped, that we cannot, sometimes they'll be like, if we do it, we report you, you are arrested. So the government should draw a line to make the children to know that defiance is going to attract a punishment or a discipline, not just saying it ambiguously, and don't flog a child, don't do this and that, and it's going to make the child to grow wings and feel like they can do whatever they feel like doing.
Thank you so much. Everyone has listened to us. Parents, you have listened to us. Teachers out there, school administrators, pastors, leaders in various religious houses, you have listened to us. People in government offices, officials, you have listened to us. The agency, NAPTIP, you are listening to us equally, or where whoever is a middleman listening to us, you get the message to NAPTIP. There should be more proactiveness. There should be proactiveness in considering the fact that families are doing well. Children are brought up well. You who is a neighbor, if you see something, there was a jingle that we used to have some time ago, about crime. When you see something,
Say something.
say something. You see that your neighbor is not training his or her child well. Perhaps that child is a foster child, not a biological child. Try as much as possible to speak up and try to help the future of that child. The future of that child is what will help us be proud of what we did with the child, or will help us condemn ourselves based on what we did with the child. Thank you so much for staying with us. I still remain Ezekiel Utang, aka MC Black, the anchorman. On this particular session, we will have to leave the stage, hoping to have you once again next week. I was sitting here with Pastor Isonke Joseph
Thank you
and
very much, sir.
Mrs. Imabong. Thank you so much.
Thank you
A school
very much.
administrator and a teacher. I am here in the middle as a referee, the anchorman. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. God bless
Cheers.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's done.
Ayemi kwa igwo, ome yemi banamu. Do re mi do, titi la so.